Christoph, come. Here's the plant, Wilson Electronics, right in St. George. Here we are at Wilson Electronics, and this is Steven, right? Did I get the name right, Steven? Yeah. We installed a WeBoost about 2 months ago when we got the trailer, and hadn't seen much of a difference in it. So we were out in St. George anyway. That's their manufacturing plant, their home plant, Wilson Electronics. So we gave him a call. They said to stop by, and he's testing it out for us right now. Steve is taking a speed test and some readings outside, and then he's taking readings inside to see what he can come up with if we're working or not. It's the inside antenna where I installed it, coming through the ceiling. We have it stuck in there. I need to pick up an extension cable so I can run it over to the table where we'll be working. Booster with an on-off switch that we have on the inside here. That's what boosts it up, sends the signal to the inside cable. I'll go ahead and show you a shot of where the antenna. And right up there is the outside antenna, that white thing sticking up there. Well, Steven went up to get some more electronic instruments, and I think he's bringing back somebody else that maybe knows a little bit more about them. The problem is we're in an area where there's really good signal here, so can't determine the difference between outside and inside now. So they're going to have to put some testing equipment on it to just make sure it is working properly. We got some test results.
We do.
Here, what we got?
Yes, so let's get in the phone. So right here you'll see -98, -103. You see that top number?
Okay.
RSRP. And so it's been around -100.
Okay, so that's on the outside.
That's outside.
Okay.
So
let's go inside and see what we have here.
We're looking for that number to drop down to maybe in the 80s, maybe even 70s. We'll see what it goes to. Just a pretty big jump. Already dropped to -86.
So why would it drop down instead of going up?
So the closer you are to -50, the better the signal. But you're only going to see -50, I would say, right by a cell tower.
Okay. All right. So the lower the number, the better.
The lower the number, definitely the better.
Okay.
And it may take a little bit to update, but you can see it's in the 80s. If you move even right next to it, it might even go to the 70s. But in around the whole vehicle, it's been in the, see, look, -68, if you can see that. You go a little away.
A little bit louder so we can hear you good.
Yep, goes back to -91, which is still a lot better than outside, which was -103, -101. You have 95, but of course you might want that in an open area so nothing's blocking it. So let's wait for it a little bit. Androids usually don't take too long, 5 to 10 seconds, and then the number should change. -91. And you should just be in the vicinity, so -84. And compared to outside, which was -103, something to keep in mind is every 6 decibels is going to be either twice as much signal or half as much signal. So if you go from -90 to -84, that's already twice as much signal. -103 to in the 80s, that's going to be quite a bit more signal, 12, 18 decibels. That's going to be.
So how much increase would you say percentage-wise from outside to inside are you seeing now?
Percentage-wise, let's see. So started with -103 to -85, 89. That's 18.
So from 103 to 85 inside.
Right. So 18 decibels. That would be altogether. Let's see. So you're getting twice as much. That's about 80% more signal than outside.
80% more signal than outside.
Outside.
So you're confident the everything's working properly?
Booster's definitely working.
Booster's definitely working. How about if I turn it off?
All right, yeah.
If we turn it off and can test it to
yeah.
make sure. Hold on 1 second.
Yep.
Okay, so we turned the booster off. Wait a minute, is it still off?
Yep, that is off now.
Okay, so we turned the booster off on the inside, and now it's going up to what?
-103.
-103. Okay, so
96. It's going to be fluctuating a little around there, but from the -81 negative 83, negative 85 to negative 101.
So-
They'll jump around.
So negative 85 to negative 101.
Right.
Correct? Okay. All right. Let's try turning the booster back on. All right. We have it up here. And now the booster is back on. The light's lit. So we're coming back over here and test it again.
Let's see where it goes to again. Negative 84. And it will always jump around the same numbers, just as long as it will show an increase. But you'll always want your inside antenna at least in an open area where it's going to broadcast. If it was in here, you're probably going to be getting similar to outside. So let me put it back. It usually updates a little bit. There we go, negative 86. Let's see if it jumps again. And the closer you are to this antenna, probably the better.
So how far, like if I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing is using my phone as a hotspot.
Okay.
Okay, and then using my, taking my laptop to picking it up.
Right.
And using that. So how close should I have that antenna to the phone?
So as you can see, if your phone is even right up against it, you're getting negative 62.
Negative 62, right up
That's
against.
going to be amazing. Negative 68. In the 60s is going to be the best you're ever going to see.
Okay.
If you're in the 50s, great, but the 60s is going to still be like a 5-bar signal if you're to compare it to bars. And so if you use your phone as a hotspot, had it right up against it, look, negative 63. That's a lot better than the negative 103 outside.
Right. Okay, so all I need to do is put a extension on there.
Yeah.
Right, and then I can run it over to our table, which is here.
Perfect.
And that's where we're going to be doing the majority of the work. So I wanted to leave it right next to the phone, and I should be able to get a hotspot.
Perfect.
For that. Okay, all right, well, let's get the cable. The only problem with testing, Apple used to have an app that you could test it with, and they no longer have it, or you can't get it on the 7s and up to the 10s. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yep,
so
unfortunately.
you have to use an Android phone.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
So we want Apple to come out with that app. Correct?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
How long do you think that'll be before they get the app? Have you guys heard anything?
We have not heard anything, but we heard that they may start having you pay for it, but we're not sure. We've heard a few different things that they just hid it, and so they're hiding that option to see the correct decibel reading. So we're hoping they just allow us to see it in the future.
Okay, well, even if you had to pay $1.95 or $2 for it.
Yeah, that
Like
would
on most of the other ones would be well worth it then, right?
definitely.
Okay. Is there any other equipment that you could test it with to make sure everything's going, or is that
that's going to
most
be
accurate?
probably the most accurate test. We have signal meters, but they're going to show the exact same thing as an Android phone.
Okay, all right. So when I get out on marginal areas, like where I have maybe 1 or 2 bars, it should boost it up to what?
Oh, right. 3 or 4, maybe even 5. If you have 2 bars, it's kind of hard to tell on bars, but you should be seeing at least 1 to 2 bars to 3 or 4 bars.
And if I have just, say, 1 or 2 LTE, it should boost it up to 4,
4, maybe 5. Yeah.
5G. Okay, all right. Well, we were in the Grand Canyon, so I think what we need to do is put the extension on it where I can get the phone right next to it at all times.
Perfect. That sounds perfect.
Okay, we got Esley, which is in tech support, and Steven here. I asked a question that I think we should know the answer, and a lot of people would. I asked him what's the difference between a MiFi or a jetpack like the Verizon, and then using your phone as a hotspot. So give me the answer for that. Talk nice and loud so everybody can hear you.
So it just depends on what you're wanting to use. If you're wanting to use 3G or voice, then you're going to be wanting to use your phone. If you're wanting to use your 4G or data, then you're going to want to use your jetpack.
Okay, so for your phone and text messages, the phone is okay?
Correct.
Okay, but if you're going to use uploading, like on your laptop, uploading videos and that sort of thing, you want to use a MiFi or a jetpack. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Well, I never heard that before, and that kind of clears that up a good bit. Here's an update on our WeBoost. There's the inside antenna. We got it from WeBoost itself when we made a visit to the manufacturing or the factory or the home plant in St. George, Utah. Worked very well. We are now in Olympic National Park at a campground called something like Kalaloch, Kalaloch. We're right on the Pacific Ocean. There's a view out our window, and behind these plants or whatever they are is the Pacific Ocean. So we're probably less than 100 yards from the ocean itself. When we got here, we had absolutely no cellular, maybe one bar at the best, but really couldn't do anything with it. Turned the booster on, and it actually went up to 3 to 4 bars when I put my phone right next to the inside antenna. I was able to use my phone as a hotspot, sat it right down on that ledge on top of the dinette right there. And my wife was able to connect on her laptop and was able to do some work, get online, do some work. So yes, it does work well. Thank you, WeBoost, for checking it out and providing us with that option of getting that new antenna on the inside there. Works very well. I can actually take it off of there and lay it on the dinette if I need it, so it works well. Well, here we are doing a little update with Christoph on the WeBoost. We've had some time now to travel around a good bit with it. We've been all over Olympia, Washington, up into Vancouver and back down, and pretty much over Utah, Nevada. Oops, I'm sorry. He seems to be boring a little bit. But anyway, we've traveled for about 3 months with it and got a pretty good update on it now. Had a lot of opportunities to use it. I think where it impressed me the most is when we were in Olympia, Washington. We were at a campsite called Kalaoch, K-A-L-A-O-C-H, camping right on the Pacific Ocean, and it was really a beautiful campground. We had 1 bar outside. Inside we had 4 bars LTE, and we were able to work very efficiently from it. I do a lot of remote working. My wife does our accounting for our business remotely, and she was able to log on and use it. We were using a combination of our cell phone. I have a iPhone 10, and she has an iPhone 6, so we're able to make that as a hotspot and use it. But we also had a MiFi, and I think that worked a little bit better. That larger antenna that WeBoost provided us with really did a good job. I think that made the inside antenna, I think that made it a lot better. So I think that antenna is somewhere around $150, $160. I think that would be well worth it. We used the standard antenna outside and really didn't have it that high. It was only about a foot off of the roof of the RV. We were in a wooded area and it really picked up well. I'm not sure how far the closest tower was, but with only 1 bar outside, being able to get 3 and 4 on the inside really made it well. Traveled up through Canada. Canada's a little bit different with cellular. You're on there wherever you are. You're kind of even though we have Verizon, you are a guest, is the way I was explained it, on their system when you're going up there. So that did vary a good bit. Hit a couple campgrounds with good Wi-Fi signal, so that wasn't bad. So all through Oregon, we were in Nevada, down into Utah, Arizona, and all. We really had good cellular, so I think everything worked out well. I would highly recommend it. We use it a lot when we're on the road. So all the tests and everything else we had out in Utah really worked well, and it does perform as they say. Boosted up to at least 30 to even higher than that. We were getting sometimes 50 and 75, 80% increase over what it was outside. So when it advertises it 33 times better, I think it's true, and it really does well.